Here we're looking into how we write good quality questions. So when we're writing questions, here's some of the things we want to think about. So we want to have data. That's what we've got to bear in mind is what's the data we're going to get from this question. And we want data that is accurate, okay? We want data that's unbiased. So we're getting the exact type of data that we want. We want a high response rate. We want to have questions that are very quick for people to answer. We want questions that are useful and meet the purpose, so not just about other random things. Okay, so these are all the things that that's what the data we want. We want the data to be all of these things. So let's look at some good questions. Questions need to be specific. Okay, so people aren't confused about what's being asked. We want to be able to get truthful answers. We want to have fair questions. We don't want questions that lead us. We want questions that have got easily understood language. We want clear definitions so people know what it is that we're asking them for, and correct grammar and spelling. So these are the things that good questions have. And of course, proofreading. Some of the things that we want to avoid, we don't want to have double negatives. A double negative is when you use two negative words in a sentence. We don't want jargon, okay? OMG, LOL. We can't assume that everyone that's going to do your questionnaire will speak that jargon, so we don't want to use it. We certainly don't want offensive language in there. We don't want embarrassing questions. If we have embarrassing questions, then people will not want to answer, and then we'll get non-response. Double-barreled questions are things we don't want. So, do you have this and do you have this? So when you're asking them for this and this, that's called a double-barrel question, and it's really two questions in one. So make them two separate questions. We don't want overlapping response categories. So we don't want to say, what's your age? Is it between 10 and 15 years or between 12 and 18 years? We want there to be we want the categories to not overlap with each other. And we don't want to have too many questions. If it's a very long questionnaire, people give up.